My name is Noor, and I will be the anchor of today's event. We have an amazing list of panelists who will be discussing both aspects of blockchain technology, its evolution, challenges, limitations, and future prospects. I'd like to start by introducing the esteemed list of panelists in the alphabetical order. Starting with Mr. Abhishek Gupta. He is one of India's leading researchers on blockchain, NFT, and digital assets, and also a Web3 architect. He is the creator of the Meta Voice project, world's first ever beatboxing generated digital NFT art, and also a Web3 evangelist. That was a lot, and we are just getting started. Next up, we have Anshul Rustagi, the founder of Totality Corp, the man who's responsible for creating India's own metaverse, Zionverse. The expertise he has in the field of virtual gaming and NFTs is second to none, and I'm sure everyone watching will be able to learn a lot from him today. Good evening, sir. Next in line is Rishikesh Kale, one of the best blockchain developers in the country. He's an early builder at Filecoin and has also won more than six major Web3 hackathons. Good evening, sir. The panel also consists of the very talented Shreya Bahu, who is the head of blockchain at Narrative and is a coveted tutor at the Solana Foundation. We aren't nearly done. That's how crazy today's panelists are. We also have Shubham Raj, whose list of achievements keep growing by the day. He's currently developing at Cerebrum, which aims to bring self sovereign identity to as many people as possible. He's been an Ethereum fellow, Solana protocol member, and also a Polygon advocate. Last but not least, we have Stefano Carandriello, the founder of Pizza Wallet. Pizza Wallet aims to make the process of setting up a wallet as easy as eating a slice of pizza. The ease of Web 2 with the security of Web 3. I would like to welcome all of you, and I'm really grateful that you took out the time to join the event. So let's start. Most people consider blockchain technology synonymous with Bitcoin, crypto, and cool monkey NFTs. Today we'll discuss how those just form the tip of the iceberg. We'll find out how the blockchain technology is being applied in every field imaginable and also creating new realms of possibilities. So without further delay, let's dive into our first topic of the discussion. So, my first question is, how was blockchain technology evolved beyond its initial use for cryptocurrency transactions? I would like, does anybody like to pitch themselves? So, what are your thoughts? Abhishek, sir, what are your thoughts on this?
What was the question? What are the use cases of crypto?
What, how has blockchain technology evolved beyond its initial use of cryptocurrency transactions, sir?
Okay, the use cases with blockchain, especially, it's a ever evolving process, right? Initially, the whoever invented Bitcoin and other coins before Bitcoin as well, their primary purpose was on a very transactional layer. But once we move ahead of that, there is so much more to sort of adapt to and build. So right now we are seeing, even with Anshul. Anshul is a good friend. We've met at previous events. So they are laying the pipelines for what will eventually be the future of use cases, right? So it can be how we are using the metaverse. For example, Google Meet is a very web to like a 2D planar metaverse, so to speak. So when we get that into 3D, how does it work? Everything should be on chain, transparency, and everything. All the different factors of our Web 2 life is emerging into Web 3. And the use cases are endless. Whatever we are doing in our regular lives can eventually seep in and get some more, it can be better in the form of, Web 3, specifically. I think that is our primary use case. I don't think we should look at what exactly is a use case. We should rather think what is not the use case and sort of look at how we can make it better. So a beatboxer in Web3 makes no sense, right? But I sort of figured out why not? Why not put my voice on chain and get that going as well? So it's all about how you look at it and how you can look at doing something different in this space. This is the era of doing whatever you want. Like, let your mind go crazy, as crazy as possible. And accordingly, like every person here is doing something different. So yeah, we should rather ask ourselves why not, like what else is missing, and get that to be made a better version of itself as well.
Thank you, sir. Anshul, sir, what are your take on this?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I think when blockchain initially started, most of the use case revolved around ownership. Um, so I think what people really wanted to first see is, does decentralization and really being the owner of the digital asset, how much value it has. I think over time, what people have realized is that ownership obviously has value. People do want privacy, confidentiality, and control, but it is not a very easy feature to actually monetize. So I think from ownership, blockchain is really moving into two other areas which are really being expanded right now. One is how can you make experiences a lot more immersive, and yet give you the quality of ownership, which is metaverse experiences, which we are building with Zionverse. And the other really big is looking at new economic models. Now, obviously, all over the world, India included, and now the US going after staking models. I think Bitcoin or any other crypto as an alternative to the current financial ecosystem is clearly going to take a while because regulators have a different opinion on it. I'll just say that. But I think what we'll see more and more of is people using the blockchain technology to create their own internal economies. What do I mean by that? If you see the Tata Neo app, all Tata Neo is an interoperable loyalty point system across the Tata sister companies, right? Now, if Tata wanted to actually make that open source and give the possibility of ownership within that ecosystem, the best technology is currently the blockchain technology, and they should have launched neocoins as a cryptocurrency, which is really a stable currency because every neocoin is worth 1 rupee, right? And they could have done an internal launch, allowed other sort of companies to attach and make it open source as well, right? And I think Starbucks is doing it. We'll see a lot more companies. Every company which today has a loyalty coin is probably going to launch their own cryptocurrency or token, whether they do it via NFTs or they do it via sort of a cryptocurrency doesn't really matter. It depends on the set of features they want to give to people, and they might end up doing both. But I see a lot of adoption taking place over the next couple of years in this particular area where companies, ecosystems develop their own economic models and internally use blockchain to enable this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Really great perspective. Shubham, sir, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah. So like if we talk about like what are the like different domains or apart from the cryptocurrency where like blockchain technology is being used, then nowadays like we are seeing decentralized application, means application building on top of the blockchain technology. So we are like seeing lots of app which is being built on the top of blockchain. We are also seeing that supply chain management is utilizing blockchain technology to leverage their operations. And also we are seeing like a digital identity management system, something like that. In India we have I think we have application where we have all the documents in a single application. I am just forgetting that name, but yeah, we can also leverage blockchain technology in the decentralized digital identity management. Apart from that, like we are writing smart contract on blockchain. We are tokenizing real estate asset as a token. And also like in healthcare's energy, like lots of different domains which are now either they are utilizing the blockchain technology or either they are looking for that how can we leverage blockchain to enhance our operation or exceed in this thing. So yeah, that is what I think about it.
Okay, sir. So let's move on to the next question. How did you all come across this field of blockchain, and what motivated you to do this? So, Shreya, ma'am, would you like to start?
Sure, Dhruv. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are. Ma'am, please
Okay,
continue.
awesome. Right. So I actually used to work for Google at a point, and then I left my job at Google to actually become a blockchain developer. And what exactly motivated me was just the fact that there is something extremely new, and I wanted to be one of the first movers to that space. And just seeing the kind of demand that is there for development and just overall build within Web3, within this new layer of internet, it's always good to be the one who is like who is a part of the shortest supply, right? And I mean, not only are there many benefits from moving from a Web2 environment to a Web3 environment, just monetarily speaking, but you also do get a lot of exposure to a lot of projects. Most of the projects and communities that you'll be coming across, they're global, and they'll have people from almost all over the world. You'll have something as crazy as a 14-year-old being friends with a 40-year-old in the same community. Just seeing all of this come together and internet coming back to what we wanted it to be in the first place, right? That uh, what do you say, privacy was actually restored to us, apart from just having activity on a public ledger, which is something that I, as a consumer, I truly do not mind, you know, as long as I'm not being, asked to accept cookies almost everywhere, just so that I can be targeted by ads and stuff like that. But Web3 is just about a decentralized internet, how we say internet for the people, by the people, of the people. So I think that was one of my main motivations to get into it.
Okay, ma'am. Really great. Stefano Calandrio, sir, would you like to tell your experience? So the question was, what attracted you to the field of blockchain and what motivated you to continue and explore the field? Sure, sir. Sir, I've typed in the chat box.
developers who are there since the very beginning, who believe in the potential of the technology and so on. All things that I could not relate with in the Web 2 space. There is there is no excitement in the Web 2 space. There is nothing there is nothing really new. It's just an evolution of something that was there already. So people are not dreaming anymore in Web 2. Instead, I saw that Web 3 was full of dreamers. I'm a dreamer myself, and I noticed that yeah, basically the space backs you up much more than would what a Web 2 space would do if you have a great ambition and so on. So I just yeah, I started Pizza Wallet with 12 bullet points on a piece of paper, and there we are. Here we are.
Really amazing, sir. Rishikesh, sir, could you tell your story, please?
Sure. So, the first thing, like what interests me more about blockchain is the core concept of what blockchain consists of. Like, what are the principles on what are the major pillars of blockchain? Like, so when we look at internet in the early 2000s or late 90s, so at that time where internet was, we are in the same situation like where blockchain currently is right now. So you can see like there are plenty of opportunities for each and everyone here to capitalize on that opportunity and build something unique that would be adopted to the masses on top of it. So that was one of the major reason why I jumped into Web3. And like there are like if you just like try to cope up with the things which are just being around you in the Web3 field, so you won't be able to actually grasp each and everything. There are so many things happening around, and even to keep a track of each and everything is quite difficult right now. So there are plenty of opportunities, I would say. And what like there are like it's a big pool of opportunities. Like we can pick up any niche which you want in blockchain. Like there are different use cases of blockchain possible right now, and you can just build on top of it. So that's what really helps. Like you are not just following a traditional methodology wherein you need to look at a particular problem statement and just follow up on a pre-made route. Now you get the freedom of like what things you can make and like how that things should look like. So that was the major reason why I jumped into this. And then I slowly started participating in hackathons, started building some projects, and that's winning some hackathons. That was some that gave me some good kickstart to carry on with my blockchain journey. And this is how right now I'm here.
Really amazing, sir. So now, as we have set the stage by answering basic questions, we would go to deeper concepts. So here's a controversial question: are art NFTs and crypto altcoins a great tool for mass adoption, or just a biggest Ponzi scheme ever? So I would like Anshul sir to comment on this.
Sure. So I think let me just first be clear that the value of art NFTs does not really lie in the art, right? Which is also to say, the value of art, which is a collectible, also doesn't lie in how it looks aesthetically, right? So I think initially in the beginning you mentioned about sort of Bored Ape or crypto punks as NFTs. And the reason some of them, even after the fall we have seen in cryptocurrencies, are still worth half a $1 million, or even some of them which are rare are worth millions of dollars, is because it provides a certain amount of social status. Right now, humans or any community, we value sort of social status because humans are social animals. So far, social status needed a proof of work, right? So when it was our grandfathers, they used to obviously tell us that in your career, you would need to take, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a CA, it would take you 30, 40, 50 years to become known in your particular profession. Thanks to the internet and social media today on Instagram Reels, if you produce something which is really good or really cringe, you can become a celebrity overnight, right? But it still requires you to do something. Now, the beauty about an art NFT project is within that particular community, you could now actually exchange social status with money, right? And this is probably the first time ever that you could buy social status, right? Otherwise, yes, there were certain signaling elements like buying a Ferrari or wearing good clothes, but you were not known that much in a particular niche community itself, right? So I think all NFTs, art NFTs in particular, have done so far is gathered, niche interests together. The value of these NFTs has really been driven by social status itself rather than utility. And like I said in the beginning, that as we see more internal economies being created, we will see a lot more utility being created, right? So, for example, at Zionverse, we did a Lakshmi NFT project, which was sold for 4.5 crore rupees last year. Um, we provided a lot of utility in terms of obviously people also making certain returns, and if you play the game, people making that money. Most of the people who have been active in that community have made 4 times the cash they put in, right? So obviously, was there value attached to it being part of a social status? Of course, there was a utility attached to it. There are now other benefits to access that particular community, and that's how I think most art NFT projects will move, right? So that's sort of my overall lay of the land in that.
Really good, sir. I really appreciated your points. Shreya Babu, ma'am, what are your take on this? Shreya, ma'am?
Hi, yeah, could you just repeat the question once more?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So the question is, are art NFTs and crypto a great tool for mass adoption or just the biggest Ponzi scheme ever?
Right, so I wouldn't say that it's a Ponzi scheme every time. There are a lot of projects that have, gone out of their way to make sure that it ends up becoming a Ponzi scheme, especially with the FTX crash that just happened. But it's truly about just an NFT is not just about its utility or its artwork or something like that. It all comes down to what we call digital data and how we're trying to convert it into assets. What is the extra perk that that asset is particularly bringing on to you? And I, to a layman, I usually try to explain to them in terms of how when you have public companies and you're buying shares into that company, so most of the times the main reason you're doing that is not just to have an ROI on that particular purchase in time, but you also in a way become part owner of the company, right? Even if it's a public company, that's the actual idea behind it. And the entire idea behind why NFT was such a big hype, again, I would say that it was mostly social media that ensured that the hype went on for so long and for as long as it could, at least, and during the bull run. But truly, I feel that it's just about, the main thing that everybody used to pitch in the beginning was just community. But then it started shifting on to utility. After a while, there was a very long debate as to whether any NFT can actually have any utility whatsoever. So it's truly just about a much bigger picture than what it is in itself, right? Now, where it all started from when we talk of NFTs is that you're just talking about one unique particular asset on the blockchain, right? If you talk about cryptocurrency, it's just the same asset and multiple copies of it. But if you just have one single piece of it, you just call it an NFT. So that is where the actual idea comes from. What it has become today is probably not what we were looking forward to, but there is still a lot that you can, think about around this. And I feel like that's pretty much why we are over here. We are a part of this ecosystem and why we want more and more like minded people to come on board, because we want them to understand the vulnerabilities that are there, to work on those vulnerabilities, and to understand how we can make them a better use case for anybody else to come into the ecosystem as a user or as a builder or as anything or anyone else. So I don't think that crypto is a scam whatsoever, because I personally know of a lot of people who have completely changed the faces of their lives, including my own, in a matter of less than 4 months, at least, because of Web3 and because of blockchain and because of cryptocurrencies. And I personally feel that just the fact that do happen to be in a part of a decentralized financial ecosystem, I don't have to rely on the bank often. So, often if you would go to some of these more advanced places, like if you go to Dubai, right? So, Dubai, there are actually a lot of grocery stores where you can use your Revolut account to pay in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. Now, that won't really happen that often. And for me, I feel much more safer if my bank doesn't need to know that I'm buying groceries somewhere in another country. So that is something that I feel like comes with the perks of cryptocurrencies and NFTs, and which was the entire idea of why you needed it to be there, right? Because it's for us, it is technically belonging to us, the ownership is of ours, and it's not just a government token that you can say, which is basically what most of your INR, your USD, your GBP, these are all just like government issued tokens. The money doesn't actually belong to us. We're just borrowing it from the government every time we're even putting it in the bank. So that is something that I do feel that has a lot of potential to, have build in and to have a lot of growth in. And which is why I feel like no matter how bad the situation gets, and no matter how many of our friends would tell us, oh, crypto is completely down and my portfolio is down 90%, and every day seeing how much money they've lost and stuff like that. It's truly about the bigger picture and not just about ROI.
Truly remarkable, man. Rishikesh sir, what side are you on? Could you please tell us?
Right, exactly. I would align with what Shreya said. So, definitely, there are some things going on the wronger part, but there is also a brighter side to it. I would say, the brighter side is more, and we as a builders or even the community, if we focus together on the brighter side, we can come up with more good, excellent use cases. Just to highlight one of them, Starbucks is going to launch their uh, a rewarding system on chain. So even each of the user getting their own NFT, and then the rewards gets evolved depending upon the purchases which they make. And now the rewarding system is getting on chain. So quite verifiable across all every Starbucks store, whether you are in India or whether you are in Australia or whether you are in USA. So such things are quite helpful here. And exactly, like uh, the supply chain use cases, which Shreya is just mentioning. So that's exactly supply chain is something blockchain can be a king of supply chain. So
Yeah.
because look at the various stakeholders in supply chain, by the time it reaches the end customers, your product is actually gone through different stakeholders, and the time taken and the data transfer which is happening, transferring from one stakeholder to another stakeholder. Some data gets filtered in between, which should not actually be the case. So when the data is actually on your blockchain inside the supply chain, so the data is not getting filtered, and the end user who is actually receiving the product gets to know the entire journey. So as rightly said during the start of the session, so web3 is all about user experience. So when you are actually enjoying your sip of coffee, you get to actually get the complete experience of from where the coffee beans came in, and who was the quality assured at each step. So these are something different use cases which can actually be coming up in mass adoption. And getting back to stating whether art NFTs are actually Ponzi, or it's actually something that would help digital artists. So art NFTs, or we can say photography NFTs. So this actually helped elevate the art industry in last couple of years, we can say. There are different artists who were not getting that sort of reply from their audience. So and that is something like which they are getting. And when we look at the photography side of the use case of NFTs, so we can just think of a scenario wherein like some wildlife photographer who is staying in South Africa, he is having different subscribers who want to purchase those photographs. Now let's assume like the wildlife photographer is selling the same photographs to different audience, like the same copy of the same photograph. So it's actually an injustice to the purchaser. And if we look at the photographer, when he sells to it someone, or maybe it can be an online marketplace, but still it takes a significant amount of time to transfer the fiat currency from one nation to the another. But that's exactly not the case with cryptocurrency. We can have like just by you give by one hand and you take by one hand in a single transaction. So these are something like good use cases we can think of.
Really great points. So, as far as I've talked to three of our panelists, the overview is, I guess, that it has vulnerabilities, but it has a much higher scope for good and much more advancement. So, I would drop on to the next question now. So, next question is, which industries have seen the greatest adoption of blockchain technology and why? So, Abhishek sir, could you begin? Could you
What was the question again? Which industries are seeing greatest adoption in Web3?
blockchain technology and why?
I think right now, or at least a few years ago, it was the finance area, right? So before I answer that question, I think had to make a few points as an NFT artist. I think Shreya mentioned in the comments that royalties, right? So perpetual royalties is a very big play, especially for limited edition artists like me. And there's a big reason why people. So let me sort of change the second question that you had asked, right? There's art NFTs and there's something else. So I think even in NFTs right now we'll be seeing two different broad categories. One is art NFTs, and then there are utility based NFTs. So of course utility based NFTs can also have a little bit of art, but primarily where art is the utility will be art NFTs, and then we'll see a lot of utility centric where art is not the major player, but it's the utility that comes with whatever you're holding. It could just be a dot on a screen, and you can get that. And what utilities you'll get with that, that's going to be the major play. So that is something very important. And for limited edition artists like me, it is royalties is the biggest play, right? Imagine if Leonardo da Vinci had his artworks on chain. His entire family throughout his generations would be getting royalties in their wallets, which is not the case. It's just the art collectors that are making a whole bunch of money right now. So yeah, finally artists are being respected, which is good, and respected not just like wow, good artwork, not that, but financially respected in terms of actually securing their future. So that is a major play for NFT artists especially. Yeah, coming to this, I think we'll see a lot of DeFi adoption, because again, first thing, before you do anything, get your finances sorted and then do everything else, right? So I think we're going to be following the same thing, where we'll see a lot of DeFi products happening. And from DeFi, which is already there, we'll move into other avenues, for example, in terms of securing the blockchain. So what happened with FTX, uh, from there we saw a lot of other adoptions as well. So I freaked out and I got my own sort of ledger as well. So we'll see a lot of these things happening. Gaming, again, it sort of spiked up, and I feel it's still going to spike up even further. So because everyone from the web 2 gaming industry, they know what web 3 has right now, right? They haven't entered it yet because they are always skeptical, and it's always people who are willing to go forward. They get rewarded, like the early reward system. And now people in the web 2 gaming industry, they know what exactly it is. They know that, okay, fine, some people experimented, and now is my time. I'm a big gamer, let me enter web 3 in the next cycle. So we'll see a lot of that sort of adoption happening. And from there I feel, again, I'm biased towards music NFT, so I hope it happens. I don't know when that will happen, but yeah, I think the next set of steps for this would be gaming, and in terms of some sort of a protection, because uh, again, this is sort of the devil's advocate inside my head that is speaking. I don't think we've been hit hard enough. I don't think we've truly learned our lesson yet. So there might be some sort of an event which will truly encourage developers to bring in proper security. For example, even MetaMask, right? Nobody knows. I use MetaMask. Nobody knows when artists. I've seen artists who've lost their entire, like, literally tens and 15 thousands of dollars just in a single, just by clicking one link, right? So some sort of security needs to be there. Ledger is cool, but even something else, I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but in terms of security, I feel that's going to be a major play for blockchain, especially like having security on chain, so that I don't have to think about whether I'll be hacked or not. I will know. It's a trustless system that we need to build, where I know at the end of the day I can go home and I can sleep peacefully. So that is something that I hope any cool developer can get in. But yeah.
So the way you talk about music and blockchain as a passion is truly inspirational, and yeah, we'll surely see some uh, developments, and may what you want happen in future. So Shubham, sir, could you take a perspective on that?
Yep. So I think like blockchain has been adopted in like a various industries, but like few of the industries had taken at a like a great advantage of the blockchain technology, which includes like a finance, especially, and supply chain management, healthcare, identity management, real estate. So I think these are the domains or the sectors who have leveraged blockchain technology in a like a higher pace apart from the like comparing the other industries. And like overall like the industry that have like seen a greatest adoption for the blockchain technologies are those like who are require transparency, security or efficiency in their operations. And I think the blockchain is the only one who offers all these things, things. So I think that is the reason why like lots of industries nowadays either they are researching in the blockchain ecosystem, or either they are utilizing it because of what blockchain has to offer in the first place.
Thank you, sir. Really great. So now we'll move on to the next question. So the next question is, can you share some unique cases you've seen of blockchain technology? So Stefano, sir, could you highlight on this? Could you tell any experiences of amazing technology regarding blockchain you have come across?
You
Sir?
asking me?
Yes, sir.
I cannot really hear your voice. If you can type again,
I think you'll have to type out the question to Stefano Dhruv.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So I'll surely do it. Just a second. So I've dropped in the chat box, and Shreya ma'am has left the meeting, but we thank her for all the information and cool experience she shared with us. Thank you, ma'am. Stefano, sir, could you answer the question now?
I think you are on mute, Stephen.
you confirm that. Can you share some unique use cases you have seen of the blockchain technology?
Yes.
Is your question. All right. So we all know that blockchain got bigger and bigger because of its community use case. It's much easier to start out a community and make it thrive with incentives, issue tokens, which are not only for speculation purposes but also and especially for community purposes, so utility purposes, voting power, and so on. So what I've seen that has had the most impact as use case is these incentivizing the community to take part of the ecosystem, and we can sum it up by touching on the fidelity programs. I am a strong believer of fidelity programs as a whole. We have seen Polygon powering Starbucks for their blockchain use cases, and guess what? What they're building? A fidelity Starbucks fidelity program, where you will be able to buy products and attend events or whatever with these points that you are basically gaining by participating to their space, right? But imagine these being decentralized. So imagine where we get a point where you can exchange fidelity programs points around the world. So you basically are letting the users to thrive within a whole ecosystem, not only the brand ecosystem. There is an exchange in between all brands' fidelity programs. And I have had the honor to speak to Sandeep last week, Sandeep from Polygon, and he is on the same page as us at Pizza Wallet, because he believes that fidelity programs are the next big use case for blockchain, right? And as a matter of fact, at Pizza Wallet, we are doubling down onto that, powering with blockchain technology a cashback program within our network across US, Italy, and Spain at the very beginning for all pizza shops we partner up with. And so imagine you buy pizza, you get the token for participating in the ecosystem of Pizza Wallet, but you also can swap it for Starbucks token. So it's just this is the beauty of it. I think that community and fidelity programs are some of the most unique use cases of blockchain technology because all the entry barriers and the centralization made this possible in a way that it was not before.
Thank you, sir. Rishikesh, sir, would you like to share your experience of unique test cases?
Right, exactly. So, as Stefano was just mentioning, about having some reward systems on chain. So, along with that comes when you are having an NFT, you own the NFT, you own the data. When we are saying that Web3 is all about read, write, and own. So, now when you are owning the data, it means that you are also living a digital life. Today, we are living a social media life, and we are having a social life as well. But as we are in our daily routine, we can see that we spend most of our time on digital devices. So along with that comes digital identity. So this is one of a very important use case of blockchain which needs to be addressed, because when you are constantly uploading data, generating the data on these digital applications, so this data can be misused, or also this data can be really used to enhance the user experience. So here comes the role of digital identity and a decentralized identity. When we are trying to merge it up, so it would allow the user to, now he can abstract how which data can be used or accessed by which particular platforms. So he can just say I don't want to share this piece of information, and I want to say this such information. So just to add on to this digital identity, there's another concept called as zero knowledge. So the bonding of zero knowledge and blockchain can eventually lead up to something really good use cases, I would say. So these are some of the emerging use cases in blockchain. Most of them, the NFT part, DeFi part, they are getting explored. But I would say account abstraction and zero knowledge is going to be the talk of towns for 2023. So just wanted to highlight some more knowledge about zero knowledge. So just to share, let us just assume that you are entering into some zone which is restricted by age, and there you are asked to share your age. You need to prove whether you are 18 plus or not. So the only possible thing is you share your government identities, and they verify. So when you are sharing your government identities, at that time your photograph, your location, your date of birth, is everything, even your address gets exposed to the one who is trying to verify. But by having the zero knowledge, you can just let the verifier know that okay, I'm 18 plus, and at the same time the verifier gets to know okay, he's 18 plus or not, and then the access control can be then carried out. So different use cases are coming up, apart from just like NFTs, metaverse, and DeFi. So even the audience can just try to explore these use cases as well. Yeah.
So, thank you, sir. Your your thoughts on zero box are really cool. Next, I would like Anshul, sir. Could you tell us something cool about blockchain which you came across?
Yeah, sure. So I think I have a little bit of a differing opinion from maybe a lot of use cases being said. I think blockchain, probably because of the understanding of whatever regulators all over the world have with respect to cryptocurrency and issues, what we will not see is we will not see a lot of use cases which are out in the public domain, right? What I mean by that is if you start building any digital asset which are tradable with fiat currency, I think they'll be under pressure. They have already been under pressure and will continue to be under pressure. I think I don't think enough attention is being paid to what the US SEC has done with staking and what has happened with Kraken. I think this is a clear signal that even the US is not okay with it, right? Till now, it was India, China, and these are very large sort of usage countries. So I think what that means is that in essence, blockchain, rather than being a sweeping sort of big revolution, will have to actually contain itself and become more bottoms up. So to me, the use cases are, like I think I'd probably said, and a few people already mentioned, I think Pizza Wallet, what they're doing with respect to sort of building an internal economy across pizza shops and making it interoperable, such use cases will come. But I also think that a lot of other use cases which are internal, where you are actually making implementation of contracts via smart legal contracts via smart contracts, will be things that come up, right? So, for example, is there a way for you to track your legal will better using NFT? Is there a way for you to actually create a digital token of property transfer? Now, that property transfer token may not be recognized by the government as something which is tradable freely for the public, but can a company structure be built where internally you can trade with a smaller community and you can have that internal transfer without having to do the entire amount of paperwork? So you create again an internal economy. And I think all the use cases that I think are going to come in the next couple of years, and it could even last as long as 5 years before government starts giving a lot of public recognition to this technology to really open it up for the public at large, will have to be limited to communities and internal use cases, right? Um, so I think that's where I find it to be quite exciting. The one problem that is there with anything which is phygital, which is very exciting, whether that's supply chain or anything to do with the physical part, is how do you make sure that there is a source of truth, right? So when the physical world collides with the digital world in blockchain and we are really using it for provenance, the issue becomes that in the physical world, when you have to transfer the data from the physical to the digital world, there is a lot of um, noise slash pollution slash corruption that can actually take place in the data itself. I am not very bullish on those use cases going forward, and I do think some of the internal digital transfers will be the next unique things that we will see, like wills, like land transfer, like economic rights, whether that's from a loyalty perspective or usage perspective of property or hotels, etc. Those will be the ones I'm more bullish about.
Thank you, sir. Really great insights. So now let's discuss about some of the challenges that the blockchain industry is facing. So Shubham sir, could you highlight some of the issues?
Yep. So I think we have been discussing about the bright side of blockchain, like what blockchain can do and what are their advantages and what it brings to the community and all of those things. But I think there are also not lots of, but there are also few disadvantages which blockchain brings in the first step, and which could be like the first one that I see is like there is a like a regulation towards blockchain by the government. So right now there is not a perfect regulation by a government. So means like a government right now is not promoting blockchain in the mainstream. That is the reason why like people are not using blockchain in
So unfortunately, sir's network has lost, so he has left the meeting, but he'll slowly be joining again. Till then, Abhishek sir, could you highlight the challenges faced by the industry? Okay, sir is back.
so sorry, I just lost.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Shubham is
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about the lack of a standardization in the blockchain industry, and apart from that, there is also some cybersecurity risk. I think Abhishek had already also mentioned that after clicking on some links via MetaMask, all of the assets from the MetaMask got transferred to another wallet, and we lost our fund. So there is also even like a blockchain offers that we are a very secure thing, but again like there is a lots of space or room to for the improvement of that thing. And there is also you can say minor thing in that of interoperability, means like right now in market there is multiple blockchains available like Ethereum, Solana, Mina block protocol, and like time by time there is lots of blockchain is coming in the market. And because of that like there is lots of conflict while choosing, like for as a developer point of view, if we think like if we have to build any dApp or any project on a blockchain, first the a big thing that we have to think about is like which blockchain should I use. Either we go with the Ethereum or Solana is the best use case for our project. So I think if we have the interoperability, because right now there is lots of project trying to solve this issue that someone build a project on Solana ecosystem and connecting it with the Ethereum dApp. So lots of project right now is working on that field, but I think there is not a great project who comes and solve this issue. So there is also room for improvement in the interoperability side of blockchain. And yep, I think that's it.
Thank you, sir. Abhishek sir, could you highlight what have challenges you have faced
Sure.
in blockchain? Yes, sir.
So I'll address it from an NFT art perspective. So I'll talk about some of the encounters that I've faced, some discussion that I've had with my collectors, and what can be done better. So when we started minting artworks, when I say we, like the first generation of NFT artists, it was more of mint on a particular platform on their own marketplace, and then sort of share it across to your collectors and get your artworks out there. So that was fine as a V1, where basically you mint on the marketplace itself, right? Like essentially, what we're seeing right now with Manifold and everything, that gives us a better standard of control with the contract, where we essentially truly own the contract. But previously, you had to mint on OpenSea. You had to. So I started off my journey on Tezos. The MetaVoice project was the Genesis piece was minted on Tezos, and it was minted on the marketplace itself. So as and when people started collecting the artworks and everything, as and when they started getting exposed to more and more chains as well, they also started drifting towards, okay, what if I sell my NFT on another marketplace, which is fine. Like, and that was the V2 of it. And then V3 was how can we sell the same NFT on a different blockchain altogether. So that is something I think someone was, I think it was Shubham who was mentioning interoperability, right? So I think
Yeah.
eventually if we can look at interoperability with NFTs, so right now there exists like various bridges are there for bridging your NFTs from one chain to another. That is fine, even. But again, as an artist, do I have any say in terms of that particular conversation? Because some of my collectors wanted to sell it on a different blockchain, right? So from Tezos to Polygon, Tezos to even Ethereum, and these things. So that is something that we need clarity on, and also how does royalties, get transferred through that? Because I've seen artists who didn't get royalty when they moved the NFT from Tezos to Polygon, and they didn't get it ultimately, because Tezos has a TZ address and this one has a different address. So who's exactly setting it up, and what is there should be a clear bridge for NFTs. Again, as I said in my previous point, royalties is the biggest game with NFTs as artworks. Otherwise, you rather just sell your artwork as a one-time thing in the Web2 world. So how do we track royalties? How do we track digital provenance once it moves, from one chain to another? That is something that we need clarity on, because the whole reason I'm in NFTs is mainly because of digital provenance. I didn't look at NFTs from a monetary perspective or anything. I just wanted to put out my voice on chain and get my visuals. Like, see, essentially the Meta Voice project, for those of you who don't know, is essentially you can see the human voice rather than hear it. So right now, even you can just see my lips move, which is not interesting. But what if you could technically see the details of the human voice? So that's what I wanted to show people. And rather than being a YouTube video, I made that animation myself, because I'm also an architect and a designer, and I put it on chain. Because even once YouTube shuts down or Facebook shuts down, this will still be on chain, because I've minted it as an NFT. And now people are, just started collecting it left, right, and center, which is good. But I need to know, I need to have a complete track of my NFTs, because these are, see, for example, unlike utility projects, these are very limited edition artwork. So I literally put my soul, and literally 4 5 years of work. This started back in 2017 as a research project, right? So I need to have a good control of where exactly my NFT is. So if, for example, if my collector decides, of course they have the right to do it, but as me as a creator, do I have any say in that particular thing? What if I don't want it to go on chain? Like, the whole reason I got into Tezos was some reasons, and all these things, I don't know the answer to this. Maybe the community can answer this, but this is something that we need clarity on. If we are moving chain, how does the royalty system work? Right now, I know people who move from Tezos to Polygon, they're not receiving their royalties. That means that a royalty link is broken. Maybe it can be set, maybe it can't, right? But it can literally cost you millions of dollars in a span of 100 200 years if that NFT clicks. So that is something that we need clarity on. Interoperability, clear interoperability. I'm not talking about like just baseline where the collector is rewarded. I'm talking about even when the artist is rewarded without having to depend on collector, or have a discussion with them, because many collectors are anonymous, right? I don't know whom to connect with in this case. So I shouldn't be in a position where I have to ask someone, like, if you're moving chain, can you give me royalty? It shouldn't be manual. Like, that person shouldn't send me royalties. The chain should send me royalties without me having to bother about it as an artist or a collector, right? Uh, Maybe there's a solution, maybe there's not, but eventually I'm pretty sure there will be solutions. Right now, all of my NFTs are on Tezos and on Ethereum and Polygon as well. But when the time comes, I need to be ready as an artist, and also as collectors. They need to have that tool where they can do it properly, right? So that is something that is a problem right now, but I'm pretty sure won't be a problem somewhere down the line.
Deeply knowledgeable, sir. So, as the blockchain field keeps
Technical, like talking about the tech stack you might want to explore, just make sure like you are good with JavaScript, and later you can just start reading about the basic concepts of blockchain. So you don't actually need to, there are plenty of courses available, but learning blockchain is something absolutely very free. There are different platforms which are making it possible to unlock like a proof of learning that on your resume. So there are like plenty of like platforms available, learn members who wants to learn blockchain, they come up and ask like what courses they should pick up. So you actually don't even need to spend a penny on this. There are very good resources available on internet that is absolutely free. And the last stuff like other panelists will surely let you know about different resources that you might pick up to learn about blockchain and become a good blockchain developer. But I would close it with do participate in different workshops, participate like listen to podcasts. There are Twitter talks going on. Be active on LinkedIn as well as on Twitter, because web3 community is quite active on Twitter. Just like because I previously mentioned that there are plenty of things happening in the web3 space, so keeping a track of each and everything gets quite difficult. So just like being active on such platforms would enable you to have a track of these activities. And do participate in hackathons. There are three major platforms like DevPost is there, DevFolio is there, and ETH Global, which carries out different web3 hackathons throughout the year. Participate in that, build some projects, whether it is good enough to win some prizes or not. Don't focus on the prizes, focus on the learnings more. And eventually, as you just get started and follow this journey, you would be able to be in a good position to call yourself as a good blockchain or an emerging blockchain developer. So,
Thank you, sir. I hope everybody would greatly learn from your advice. Stephen, sir, what would you like to add to it? I have attached the question in the chat box. Stephen, sir?
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir. Sir, I've
Sorry,
dropped.
your voice is very soft. I hear your voice very softly, so I have to
Yes,
double check, right?
sir, I've
One second.
dropped the question in the chat box.
Yeah, sure. So, um, given the fact that I'm not a developer, I do not have a technical background. I am the non-technical kind of founder. I can tell you my perspective from the outside, what I've seen for all the new developers who came on board onto Pizza Wallet, as well as all the people who have surrounded us along this journey. Basically, what has worked the most is to learn online. There are a lot of resources, YouTube courses, DAOs, like Developer DAO as well. Then participate to hackathons. We have been invited to several hackathons, private builders house. I would also say go learn on your own, right? There are a lot of video contents out there, and then become an advocate for some of the chain. Polygon advocates, in my opinion, have a very, very good ecosystem. The, the ecosystem is very supportive, DevRels and so on. So I would go through that path, Polygon advocates, and then participate into the decisions on the DAO and try to bring value. Try to bring value bit by bit as well. For instance, our technical lead, he is a Polygon advocate. He has built relationship with the DevRel for Europe, then global. We had the chance to here in Singapore to meet the global DevRel for Polygon. He has been approved as Polygon Guild mates in his hometown. So Web3 is very much rewarding if you put like the commitment, the skin into it, right? You show that you are there for the long run, and so the ecosystem just invests on you. Just bring value, and things will be rolling.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Shubham,
welcome.
sir? Shubham, sir, could you add to this?
So, so I totally agree with this, Stefano, like, and also with what Rishikesh had like said about the technical point of view. Like, go there is lots of video tutorials. There is lots of platforms where you can learn about blockchain ecosystem, and while learning, you can get an FTA and advantage. And also, Stephen had said that Stefano had said that Like this is a kind of there is a kind of ecosystem where if you show your enthusiasm that you are really interested in the ecosystem and you are learning, then I would say like from the day one you'll get the incentivization of your effort. Means from the day one, even if you started learning, you'll get the reward, right? And that is the one of the reason why I'm stick to this ecosystem, because I didn't started this because I like all the what blockchain has to offer in the first place. But like I was just like exploring the ecosystem, that what actually blockchain is, and like why people are talking about these things, why people are paying like millions of dollars for just images and all of those things. So that is the place where I've started. But when I started putting my effort into it, I got lots of incentivizations in terms of opportunities, in terms of like you can say money, or in terms of like community building or contacts. I got lots of exploration in that phase. And yep, that is the reason why I'm stick to this ecosystem till now. And yep, there is lots of great resources out there you can learn for free, and even like earn a good amount of money even at a beginner stage. So yep, I think Rishikesh has mentioned lots of resources, and that is like more than enough for getting started in this ecosystem.
Thank you, sir. Ritvik, sir, could you comment on this and motivate the future blockchain developers?
Do you mind explaining the question again? I would say I'm in a conference right now. There would be like some noise. My bad for that. But do you mind like explaining the question again? What do I have to talk
So the question was that as a blockchain developer yourself, what advice do you have for the future blockchain enthusiast on how to start their journey?
I would say curiosity and maybe, as Stefan said, adding value to some kind of chain or some kind of a community. It's with Web3 and blockchain. I would say it's more community based. So go out there, have your own research, work on some projects, maybe go on some hackathons, go on Twitter Spaces, join some Discord servers, have a thorough understanding. If you want to be like in the tech part, have a thorough understanding on the front end or the back end. With back end you have smart contracts, so get a hold on solidity, write contracts. And if you're like this new space is kind of something with which back in 2000s the web 2 was. So we've just started on a new internet of like value, right? So there's everything that was there in Web 2, like security, maybe design, you have front end, back end, everything's out there. You just have to go and grab the opportunity. Like right now, I am in a Solana conference, so I do not know much about Solana. I'm just trying to get more and more information. Um, and there would be job opportunities if you're good enough. So this is three things, learn, maybe create value, and do the hustle. That's pretty much it. People should not be here for like a small return thing. Get this coin or get this NFT. Let's buy back this and get some money, but add value. Yeah, that would be something that it is to look forward to.
Thank you, sir. Seeing your achievement really makes the Triple IT family really proud. So now I will go to the next question. The next question is, why do you think governments are unreceptive to Web3? And in your case, have they been supportive? So Shubham Raj sir, could you tell
I
about your experience?
Excuse me.
I think Stefano had to say something.
Sorry, guys. Just I don't want to interrupt, but I have 1% battery, and I might just drop the call suddenly. So if this happens, it's because the battery died. Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, would you like to tell upon your experience?
Can you please repeat the question?
The question was, why do you think the governments are unreceptive to Web3 and have they been supportive of your endeavors?
Okay, so I think government are typically responsible for ensuring the safety and stability of their economy and a financial system, and like as well as enforcing law and regulation. And that is one of the main reason why they are not promoting blockchain in the first stream, because they do not have the control over it, and like people can do whatever they want to do, and they cannot control it. Like, so let's take an example of a decentralized social media application, right? So right now in Twitter, if we did any tweets, or let's say government found that this tweet is suspicious, or it is promoting some kind of unlegal thing or like unethical thing to the community, then definitely the government will delete that tweets, right? They have the authority and they have the rules and regulations for that. But like, let's say if the same application is being built on the blockchain ecosystem, and if someone had made that tweet, or someone maybe uploaded a particular video regarding that thing, in that case government did not have the control, that because blockchain has to offer that if you put the data on the blockchain, it cannot be edited, right? It's permanently there, no one can edit that thing apart from the person who have done that thing, right? So I think these are the one of the few issue. And also apart from that, like let's say like in blockchain, like people say like it's open, right? So everyone can go to the Etherscan or Solana scan and track anyone transactions, like who is transferring which amount of how amount of money to which person. But in the government point of view, if you can see that government didn't have the right tool set to track that thing. Like, okay, let's say I'm transferring $1 million to your bank, to your wallet address. Government will not see that this wallet address belongs to India or China or Sri Lanka or any other country. So that is the reason, that is one of the also main reason why government is not supporting that case. And also because government runs by the tax and all of those things, and they do not have the tools to get to know what, like how much money. So for example, right now if I have, let's say, x amount of money in my bank account, and if that money is taxable under government regulation, then like government will be able to see that, okay, in your bank account you have this amount of money, and we'll cut the tax, you have to pay this amount of tax. Otherwise we'll be sending we'll send police to your home, and like you need to pay that thing, right? But let's say I have the same amount of money in my crypto wallet. Nobody knows like how much money in my crypto wallet, and either like it's upon me that either I'll be paying that crypto tax or not, right? Because government had said that you need to pay 30% tax in India, right? But let's say I have a wallet, decentralized wallet where I put it my money, then government didn't have the control. And I think this is the one of the main reason why government is like little bit unrespective to the Web3 and whole blockchain ecosystem. And I think later on this thing will definitely change, and like even like government is trying to take advantage of blockchain technology. Like recently we saw that RBI launched their digital currency, but those are not definitely the public blockchain. They are mostly focused on the private blockchain, means they are leveraging the power of blockchain, but not launching or publishing it as a public ledger, right? So yeah.
Right, sir. So, Rishikesh, sir, could you comment on this as well?
Yeah, I would again align with the views of Shubham. Just to add on that, like yes, it will take some time. The most important thing in blockchain, which we are lagging behind, is regulation on the regulation part. So regulation is something that would boost up blockchain ecosystem more. And yeah, definitely like government is taking some steps. If you just look at Telangana government, they just recently started the blockchain incubation center, which is completely funded by Telangana government. That they have themselves taken up some initiatives as well as some good projects which they want to build on blockchain itself, and make it available for public to use. Like maybe some around 3 4 months back, we also saw that police station in Uttar Pradesh, if I'm not wrong, they went completely on chain. All the FIRs which are getting registered at that police station are actually recorded on blockchain ledger. So like definitely some good use cases are coming up, and they will take time. But yeah, today's scenario is such that we don't have that much backing from the government, but definitely as mentioned by Shubham, they do have their own outlook on that. And even that things are pretty important when we think of larger population. So definitely, yeah, things would become more smoother as we just move on.
Yeah, right, sir. So, Stefano, sir, would you like to put your perspective forward?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, governments are one of the most centralized infrastructure we have in the world, right? And so they are based on centralization and control. Now, with that said, they are just spinning around like scared chickens because these things is out of their control. They do not understand it, and so whatever they do is out of fear. And for this, basically, they don't want to lose the power over certain industries, and we have just seen that with DeFi now, the SEC. With the staking thing for Kraken, right? So they're just afraid that they could lose a lot, and for that reason, they will never give us the freedom that we want until they will have figured out a way to take advantage of all this. This is my opinion. So regulations is much more it's much harder than we expect, and it will be much harder than we expect just because they have to cap the velocity of how this space is evolving until they will understand how to basically oversee the things and take advantage of it, and then perhaps the regulation will become like easier on us. This is my perspective on it.
Thank you, sir. So with this, my questions end, and I would like to ask all of the panelists if they wish to add something. Anyone?
Yep. Firstly, thanks for having this and definitely conducting this because such sessions and such workshops would like encourage the curiosity in the young minds, and definitely we need a good workforce in the Web3 ecosystem, and such sessions would definitely help them. So thanks for conducting this.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So I'd like to extend my appreciation to each panelist for devoting their valuable time to this event. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and enlightening the audience. Some of the panelists left the meeting, but due to some prior commitments, but I would like to thank them as well. And I would also like to thank all the attendees for the active participation and hope that this roundtable conference was fruitful and left everybody enriched with knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.